And we are rolling on November 17th, where we are doing persuasive speeches here at UCLA, where the sunshine is shining. A beautiful day. And we're about to hear from Laura, or should I say we're about to be persuaded by Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura.
Hi, Laura.
So, growing up, my dad set one major rule for me. He said, in polite company, I was never allowed to talk about money, religion, or politics. Well, today, I'm going to break my dad's cardinal rule, because right now, I want to persuade all of you guys to become more involved in politics. I'll give you 2 reasons why it is important to be involved in politics, 3 actions you can take to be more involved in politics, and then some benefits that will follow. Journalist Doyle McManus of the LA Times said in 2014 that our generation, the millennial generation, is becoming a bigger and more powerful part of the electorate each and every single year. He then said that millennials are the wave of the future. I completely agree with this statement. As young adults about to enter the workforce, we have such a huge stake in the future of this country. And I personally believe that the only way to ensure that the future will look the way we want it to is by being involved in politics. So the first reason why I think it is so important to be involved in politics is because as young adults we have such a powerful voice, but it is simply not being heard when it comes to political decisions. According to the Center for Information Research on Civic Learning and Engagement from Tufts University, during last Tuesday's presidential election, only 50% of young adults ages 18 to 29 turned out to vote. So we take that statistic and apply it to this classroom. Only half of us voted in last Tuesday's election. This statistic makes me both sad and angry. It's really sad for me to think that half my peers don't think that their voice is worth being heard when it comes to politics. And I'm really angry because if more young people had voted, the results of the election could have been drastically different. In the end, democracy only works if everyone's voice is heard. The second reason why I think it is so important to be involved in politics is because political decisions affect our daily lives. Political decisions on the national level to a local level have direct effects on our lives, and I know this from experience. I grew up in a small town called Mill Valley, and one of the things that Mill Valley is known for is having a great public school system. The reason why we had such a great public school system is because the school district gets a lot of money from property taxes. When I was a child, the voters in Mill Valley decided to pass a proposition that drastically raised property taxes in order to give more money to education. So because of the voters and the hard work by the school administrators and the elected officials, I was able to enjoy a great public education filled with art, music, and technology that most school-age children can only dream of. I'm forever grateful to the parents, neighbors, community members, and just voters all around for giving me the chance to have such a good education. And in this case, something as simple as education really boiled down to a political decision. So also thinking about my education growing up, I feel really empowered. I feel really empowered because I know that now my voice could potentially impact future generations of my town, of my state, and of my country. So now that you know why it is so important to be involved in politics, I'm going to give you 3 actions you can take to become more involved in politics. First of all, you can vote. Vote in every single election. Don't just vote in the fun and exciting presidential elections. Vote in the midterm election 2018, and vote in your local elections next year. 2, educate yourself on politics. Learn who your local representatives are. Learn how to contact your local representatives. If you have time in your schedule, take a political science class here at UCLA. UCLA has one of the best political science departments in the country, and there's some really great professors here doing some really great research. And third, don't be afraid to talk about politics. Get in political arguments with your family, neighbors, and friends. Don't be afraid to disagree. But remember to hear other people's points of views as well. You might end up learning something new. So now that I've told you a course of action that you can take, I will now tell you some benefits that will follow if you take these actions. You'll feel more connected to your community. You'll feel as if your voice is being heard. You'll better understand the complex government decisions that happen every single day. On a lighter note, you'll better understand all those crazy political articles that your aunt and uncle post on Facebook way too often. And if you really hate politics and nothing motivates you to get involved, remember, every single time you vote, you'll get a cute little I vote sticker. So, in summary, I've told you 2 reasons why it is important to be involved in politics, 3 actions you can take to become more involved in politics, and some benefits that will follow. And, in conclusion, there should not be a single doubt in this room that being involved in politics is very important. Growing up, my dad told me, don't talk about politics, especially in polite company, because it's rude and makes people uncomfortable. Well, now as a political science major, I break this rule almost every single day. I would now urge you guys to break this rule as well. Don't be afraid to talk about politics, and don't be afraid to get involved in politics, because in the end, your voice really matters, and we can make change in this country. Thank you.
Thank you. 528. What'd you like?
Hi, I'm Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
I liked your speech in general, but I also liked how you told us to vote, and I don't remember where we're supposed to vote, but like how you knew, like I think you did research on it, so I think the mid, you said something about the mid.
Midterm elections.
And then the one next month?
Local elections next year.
Not just the presidential elections, yeah. Improvement?
Hi, my name is Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
I really liked your speech. I did vote, but even if I hadn't, I think you would persuade me to go out and vote. I just think sometimes you would lose your train of thought kind of, but you quickly got back to it. But it was really good.
Okay. Well, I really liked your speech, Laura. It wasn't rushed. You could have put more in it. I think in light of it's very timely in light of the big elephant in the corner that occurred on November 8th, and yet you didn't mention that, and yet we all think maybe the results could have been different if the millennials had come out and other groups had voted as they did in the last election. They did not come out. So it was a very timely speech. I loved your opening, Money, Religion, and Politics, and I'm glad it was a speech on politics. So yeah, you don't ask somebody how much do you make and what's your religion, and so that was good advice from your father. Your thesis was perfect. Your quote from Daryl McManus of the LA Times was really on spot for your particular persuasive speech. I'm slightly skeptical that they're the wave of the future, but they're a present. They're going to be a presence in the future. I'll give him that. On your main body, your first reason is the voices are not being heard, right? Yeah. And you had your evidence here from the Civic Learning and Engagement at Tufts University. Did you say the date, or did I miss it? Or
I said from information gathered last week.
Last week, so it's very recent. Okay, I missed the last week. Okay, good. Last Tuesday. Okay, so that's even more recent. Good. Yeah. So half of us, and then you made the statistic come alive by saying in this room half of you didn't vote. Excellent. And then you didn't skip over the emotional part that I've structured into the prompt and said, and I feel really rotten about this, that people, it upsets me. You have the right to vote. Many people in the world do not have the right to vote. Not only do we have the right, we don't even exercise it. We take it for granted. So, good first reason. Second reason, it affects our daily lives. You gave the great example of Mill Valley bucking the Prop 13 trend of, hardly any money for education from property taxes. And so that was a good little story from your past and good support for your claim. And so that was good. And that's, by the way, a way that local politics can get around national unwise policies. So, yeah. On your third and concrete actions, you urge us to vote in every election, and excellent advice consistent with your proposal. And take a class on politics, and you claimed how great our political science department is. And so, are you a poli-sci major? So that's coming from you. So you've had experience, so you can make that claim. One student said to me, I'd be interested to hear your response to this. Is his after being in it for 4 years, his big beef with the department was that it's all after the fact. They study stuff after it's done, and there's no forward-looking stuff there that's now time stuff. Is that a valid criticism of your department?
I've only taken underdiv so far, so I'm not really 100% sure. I just know that it ranks like number 9 in the country.
Yeah.
So that's why I was basing my...
But your assertion on it. Okay. Yeah. And then you didn't skip the important step of the benefits that will come from people taking these actions, and you gave them good benefits. So I like that. Your summary or conclusion and tie back to your father, very vividly to your father, was good. Your canais were to breathe, move 3 times, and don't rush. How did it go?
I made a point to take deep breaths every now and again. And
good.
I think I moved good.
Yeah, you did well, yeah.
And I'm not... What was my third one?
Don't rush, yeah.
I think I didn't rush as much, but it was still...
Still a little rushed, yeah. Yeah, you have plenty of time. That's why I expanded it to 7, so people don't have any excuse for slowing down and doing an emphatic delivery style on this final speech. Yeah, you did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, that will bring us... That will bring us to Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
Bieber, you're wearing a Bieber shirt. Hey. Go over that way a step, please. Yeah. Alyssa Lisa stands before us, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, persuade us.
Hi, I'm Alyssa.
Hi, Alyssa.
Have you ever imagined a job where you could get paid to play with kids all day and dress up and have fun? Being a camp counselor provides just that. Today, I want to persuade all of you to become a camp counselor this summer. I will give you 2 reasons why, 3 actions you can take, and the effects of this. Being a camp counselor is really important to me because it has provided me with a lot of experiences in my life that have benefited me. Being a camp counselor this past summer made me make great relationships, learn responsibility, and interact with people and learn how you can work well with other people. The first reason why I want to persuade all of you to become camp counselors this summer is because it shows that little kids can look up to you and you can really make a difference in their lives. A research study was done showing how different aspects of recreation have changed kids' lives in relationship to their counselors and adult figures. The study found that 83% of campers said that the most positive experience out of camp was their relationship with their counselors, and it made their experience very fun. This is almost the amount of people that didn't get into UCLA, which is a big number, and you should all feel very smart. When I was a camp counselor, I felt that all my campers looked up to me a lot. They would always ask me different questions, ask for advice, or ask me to teach them certain things that I knew how to do that they didn't. One of my little campers, Ava, would come up to me every day and ask me which boy should be her boyfriend for the day or the week. But all joking aside, I didn't feel like I made a difference in these kids' lives till after I already finished being a camp counselor. When I finished working and went back to visit my campers after a few weeks, they all came up to me running, hugging me, saying how much they missed me, and it really touched me. A little boy came up to me and thanked me for teaching him all the colors and shapes so that he was prepared for kindergarten. This made me feel very happy because I was able to see how much a difference I made in these kids' lives and how I could impact them. I can't wait to go back next summer and be able to do this again.
Great.
The second reason why I want to persuade all of you to be camp counselors is because I made great relationships throughout this past summer. A study by a guy named Michael Lyons, who is an Australian professor that studies leisure and travel, made a study about why people want to become camp counselors. He found that 27.4% of counselors said that they did this for social aspects. This was the highest number out of all the other options, and I didn't realize that I wanted these social aspects so badly until I started camp. The first day, when I met my junior counselor, Taylor, I was really nervous about spending every day with her for the next 4 weeks because I didn't really know her. After a few days, when we began to collaborate and play with the campers together and really get a system working where we could help each other and make each other's lives easier at camp, we became really close. Our favorite part of the day was when we got to put the campers down for a nap and talked for hours about our lives and getting to know each other. It made me really sad leaving camp because Taylor has become one of my best friends. It was really sad leaving college and not being able to see her, but I'm really happy that we're so close, and I can always recount the countless times when we talk about camp memories and how it changed us. I feel very sentimental about this because I can't wait to go back and be a counselor again this summer. I really miss my friends and want to see how I can make even more relationships with other people and the kids that I encounter at camp. Third, I'll share 3 actions you can take to be a camp counselor this summer. First, you can simply apply for a job and have an interview to be a camp counselor. Second, you can all put down social media and take the time to connect with kids and impact their lives, because that's what our next generation will be. Third, you can simply laugh. Kids do funny things, and it always brightened my day to see how the funny things they could do, and it always made me really happy. Fourth, I would like to share with you some benefits that you will get if you become a camp counselor. It will give you aspects of responsibility so you know what actions you're capable of taking and how to impact different people. It will show you how to work with others very well and make great relationships. And it'll make you feel like a kid again by being able to go out and have fun with all your campers. In summary, I have shared with you 2 stories, 3 actions, and the benefits that you will have by being a camp counselor. I think that everybody in this room should be persuaded to become a camp counselor because it gave me the opportunity to make great relationships, impact kids' lives, and have fun. Wouldn't you all really enjoy the experience of being able to get paid for playing with kids all day and dressing up?
Great. That was 6:06. Thank you. We're somewhere here, yes.
Hi, I'm Allie.
Hi, Allie.
I really liked your stories. They were very personal and really increased your credibility and really made that connection to help persuade the audience.
We were sincere with you, Allie. Improvement?
Hi, I'm Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
Well, on a good note, you did a lot of things from the sticky book. You made the statistic on a human scale, and made everything really relatable. Improvements. Maybe just when you walk, you kind of lose your train of thought once you get there and have to recoup. So try and blend the 2 together.
You walk and talk and know where you're going and what you're going to say next as you're walking. Well, Alyssa, good improvement over the quarter. I think your voice is resonating a little better, and continue to work with the from the the base of your top of your stomach area, and practice that exercise until it's a habit, and you'll be in really great shape. Well, you started with a rhetorical question, and you ended with that rhetorical question, which was fine. Students here are thinking of a dream job, and so you sketched one out for them, so that was fine. Your thesis was perfect. Your significant statement was a little bit on the me and not you, but I would have finally got to, it was good for me and it will be good for you too. Sell it to them. The first reason yes, there are studies about camp counselors. Remember to give, as I said in my email, cite aloud the date and where it came from, so we know where we can assess its credibility aloud. It sounded like a good study. It was from 2007, but you didn't emphasize that enough. You gave it a human dimension of when you came back and they all came rushing up to you. That was a very well told story, and I could see the kids rushing up to you and being happy to see you. And that sounded like a very satisfying experience, so that was good. Then you went on to give the emotion from the sticky text, and I felt happy because it made me feel loved. I feel that I had had some impact on these children by being a camp counselor. So The implication is if it did this for me, it would do this for you. Say that perhaps. Your second reason, again, the Kevin Lyons, the Australian study. You need a date, and interesting study, and then you went from the study to personalize the study and say how you were scared to be around your mentor or bedmate or whatever she was, bunkmate or something the first day, but it worked out and it was fine, and and you have endless camp memories, and then you didn't hesitate to say, I felt sentimental about that. Your actions that you asked the class to take were good. You might have been slightly more specific of where they apply, say to Bruin Woods or whatever, to get the job, and so forth with the other two. Your benefit statement to them, I thought, was good and compelling. Your summary was good, your conclusion was good, and your tieback was fine. Here were your canais. So don't play with your hair as much. So you had it back in a bungee cord, and that's good. Make speech longer and enhance more on the details with my stories. Play with tonal variety with happy and sad parts of my speech. How'd that go?
I think I did the first two well, and the third I can improve on.
Yeah, well, that's good, and I'm glad to see that you think you still need some improvement and work and practice, and you do. And if you continue to practice, you'll be a very fine speaker. Thank you very much, Alyssa. Okay, that brings us to Linnea. Linnea's not here?
No, I'm here, but I'm in group D.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm wrong. Allie. Hi, Allie.
Hello.
How's it going? Smile, you're on candid camera. I said, smile, you're on candid camera. Allie stands before you managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Was that computer open? Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Allie.
Hi, Allie.
So I'm sure, like many of you guys in the room today, I grew up surrounded by animals. So whether you have pets of your own, like I do, or you have friends or family who have pets, I think it's safe to say that animals really play a huge role in so many lives today. Personally, I have 2 dogs back at home. They literally are my life. I probably will go FaceTime them after this class because 2 months is way too long without them. Or next week during break, my friends are going to come over, probably just to hang out with my dogs. But have you guys ever stopped to realize maybe where these animals came from or what their lives were like before? Or what about the animals that haven't found a home yet? It was these questions that really made me stop and realize how important it is that these animals are coming from the right place. So today I want to persuade you guys to, when you're finding your next pet, to adopt them from an animal shelter or rescue groups rather than shopping for them elsewhere. And I will give you 2 reasons why this is so important and 3 actions to take and some benefits that will follow. According to the Albany Law Review in 2011, It is estimated that there are over 78 million dogs owned in the United States, and only 21% of them were adopted. 21%. Like, clearly, people are unaware of how important this issue is, and something needs to be changed. And so I hope through my speech you're really able to recognize just how important this issue is. So, the first reason why I want to encourage you guys to adopt and not shop is because you'll be taking a fight against puppy mills. Now, if you're unaware of what puppy mills are, this is basically where every other place other than animal shelters and rescue groups get those dogs that they sell. Lawyer Kristen Kinney explained that puppy mills have become a catchphrase synonymous with abuse and deplorable living conditions, where these dogs are living in these crammed mesh cages matted with feces and with untreated medical conditions. And basically puppy mills put profit above everything else. They don't care what these animals have to go through as long as they're making money. And so, and on top of this, if these puppies ever become, they reach a point where they're no longer profitable, they're either abandoned or killed. So when I learned about this, it really made me angry because I tried to think about my 2 dogs that I have at home living in these kinds of conditions, and it really broke my heart. So I urge you guys, if you have an animal of your own or you know someone that has an animal, really think about those pets going through those kind of conditions, and hopefully you guys can see just how disgusting this industry is. So the second reason I think you guys should adopt and not shop is very simple. You'll be saving the lives of multiple animals. First off, Courtney Sullivan from the New York Times in 2014 explained that between 3 to 4 million cats and dogs every year are euthanized because there are way too many animals in these animal shelters and not enough people are stepping up and adopting them. So if we have more people adopting, these numbers will greatly decrease. And when I learned about this number, I was actually very frustrated. But I want you guys to understand that my family actually at one point was very ignorant to this issue as well. And when we were shopping for our first dog, we were about to buy one from the pet store down the street. And before we did so, my family kind of reached out to some friends to really get their input. And one of my mom's best friends actually stood up and explained to her how important adoption was. So we did our research, and sure enough, like, that changed everything for us. We actually ended up shopping or adopting our first dog from our local animal shelter, and eventually our second one, and it made such a huge difference to us. So now that I've given you guys 2 reasons why you should adopt and not shop, I'm going to share with you guys 3 actions you can take for this issue. First off, it's very clear to adopt. Whether you are getting an animal within the next year or you want one with your family in the future, I really encourage you guys to adopt your next pet rather than shop for them. Second reason is to spread the message. So like my mom's best friend did for us, if you guys are sharing people with how important it is to adopt your animals, it can really make such a difference. And third, if you're very passionate about this issue, there's so many ways you can make your voice heard. So just like any other public policy issue, you can reach out to your legislators and talk to them about this inhumane treatment of animals at puppy mills. Or there's actually an initiative going on. It's called Puppy Friendly Pet Store Initiative, and it's actually where you go out to your local pet stores and explain to them why they should refuse to sell animals and instead try and encourage customers to adopt at local adoption or local animal shelters. And on the Humane Society's website, they actually have like templates and for invitations and pledges. They really have everything set up for you if you really want to take this step to go and reach out to local pet stores. So the benefits that come from taking these actions, I kind of already mentioned, but you'll be making such a huge difference. So at first, you will be standing up against these puppy mills and this very cruel treatment of animals, but also you'll be saving so many lives. So if you adopt yourself, you'll be saving the life of that animal, and you'll be opening up a spot for another animal in that shelter. Or by spreading the message, you'll also be saving so many lives because more and more people will really understand how important this issue is. So in summary, I've shared with you guys 2 reasons why you should adopt and not shop, and 3 actions why 3 actions to take and some benefits that follow. So I hope at this point there's no doubt in this room how important it is to adopt your next pet. And like I said before, I feel like pets play such a huge role in so many lives. And so whether you have a pet of your own or you know a pet really take the minute to like really think about where these animals came from. Maybe that'll help you guys reach out and take that step to spread the message of adoption. And hopefully, by each message we spread, maybe one day we can increase that percentage of 21% animals adopted to hopefully 100% one day in the future. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. And the time was 6:16. Okay, we're somewhere back here.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
Hi, Caroline.
What I really liked about your speech is that you like played off of our emotions. Like if you have a dog like of your own, think of them like in these like horrible mesh cages with like feces everywhere. Like that like made me really sad about my dog. So that was like really effective.
Would you mind hitting the lights? It's a little warm. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
And I like the story about when you said that when you first were getting when you were looking for your first dog, that your family was about to go buy from the pet store, and you said, that even then you guys weren't, didn't know about like the cruelties of like, going that route instead of adopting. And then you tied it back into, spread the word about it as well, as an action as well. I think that was
Yeah, they were really consistent with what you wanted people to do, and they were things people could really do, so that was good. Oh yeah, I liked your speech a lot. It was well documented and well thought out, and a good balance between pathos, ethos, and logos. So you had, it wasn't just all emotions, but you had statistics and good logic and good arguments in there too. Let's talk about your intro. You talked about the joy of your own dog and the pleasures you have in interacting with that dog. And yet then you contrasted that with the people that aren't in a home, that are out there. And your tie back was, to go back into the same milieu and talk about us increasing that 21% to maybe 100%. So it was a good tie back and a good full circle. But your thesis was excellent. Your sixth statement where you quoted from the Albany Law Review, good research. And I like the way you emphasized that 21% and made it come alive and really let people know that that's a really small percentage of the dogs that are out there living with people. On your main body, you quoted lawyer Kristen Kenny. You failed to mention it was 211, but just remember, give us the whole citation when you do it. And you gave us the deplorable conditions, and you described the cages and the feces and so forth, and the horrible stuff they have to endure. But what really brought it home was your own emotional reaction to it. I felt disgusted. This is awful. It shouldn't be going on, and that was good. On your second reason, you quoted Courtney Sullivan, 214, from the New York Times, which it was a beautiful segue into your example that you used. So that was very good. So I like that. On your concrete actions, I thought they were all consistent and well thought out, and things that this group could actually do. They weren't these big abstract things where they'd have to fly to New York or do something really crazy, but they could do it within their own community. The benefits could have been a little bit longer, so you had some time and stress what great things will happen if they follow that. And you can parallel the actions you propose with benefits from each action if you wanted to. Your conclusion was perfect, and the tieback was excellent to the 21% to 100%. Your canais were to walk 3 times to create a stronger, significant statement that would sell the audience. And remember your quotes in your speech and where they fit in. How'd they go?
I walked 3 times, which I haven't done at all before, so I did that.
Yeah.
And that actually helped me focus more, so that was helpful.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, one does do a lot of things in our mind when we're walking. We can think of what's next. The left and the right brain are working, so it relaxes us. So it's good.
And then significant statement. I remember in my last speech, I didn't use a quote or anything. It wasn't strong at all. And so I think by inserting that quote about how many animals are actually adopted, and then really emphasizing how important this issue is, and that something needs to change.
Yeah, the Albany Law Review was a good way to go there. A real strong authority there. That was good. And your quotes were filled in nicely. We call those arguments from authority, and your authorities were good.
Yeah.
So you did an excellent job, and you have your bibliography attached. So nice job. Thank you, Allie. Okay, that will bring us to Hannah. Hi, Hannah. How you doing? Great, thanks. Good to see you. So you're taller. Okay. Hannah stands before us, managing the tension, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
And I'm sure at least some people in this room and hundreds more across campus are thinking to themselves, as soon as I get back to my dorm room, I'm getting in bed and taking a nap. So I'm going to explain to everyone here why you should quit napping once and for all, and why I have decided to quit napping, and all of the benefits that I have seen from this. So I'm going to give you 2 reasons, 3 actions, and then the benefits from if all of you decide to quit napping and how it will improve your life. So me and my roommate last year, we loved napping. So we actually would plan our schedules around the fact that we both really wanted to be able to be asleep from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. if we wanted to. So we would go home, shut the blinds, and pass out for sometimes up to 4 hours. I thought it was amazing. It was the best part of my day. However, I did a little bit of research, and I actually decided to make an informed decision about a year ago that I was going to quit napping, and I have seen exponential increases in my productivity and my energy, and I believe that everyone here and everyone across campus would also feel better in both of those areas if they decide to implement this into their lives as well. So the first reason is that it's simply just not very good for your body if you nap for long periods of time consistently. So this comes from the National Institute of Sleeping, and they basically said that we naturally have a circadian rhythm. So we evolved to sleep at night and be awake during the day. So our body produces melatonin when it's dark out. I'm sure you guys all know about melatonin. And so that's our body's way of signaling, okay, it's time to rest. And that specifically is supposed to happen when it's dark. So we actually aren't really supposed to sleep during the day at all. So when we do, it messes up the sleep pattern that we have naturally developed, and it makes it so that we are getting less sleep at night and having an inconsistent and unhealthy sleep cycle overall. So for me personally, I noticed that when I was napping a lot during the day, I would be exhausted by the end of the night, but I still wouldn't be able to fall asleep. I would have to take melatonin supplements, which I'm sure many of you have as well. And I would still need to nap the next day in order to just make it through. So when I decided to quit napping, I actually noticed that I had so much more energy throughout the day, and I wasn't needing to sleep during the day because I was getting enough rest at night. So the second reason why everyone should quit napping is that it's honestly just a waste of all of our time. So my support for this is a little bit from some books that I've read about increasing productivity in terms of studying, but mostly from my own experience. So like I said before, our bodies aren't naturally designed to need to nap during the day. So like I said, it's a waste of our time. So if you take, like I was doing, sometimes 3 or 4 hours out of my day to sleep, that was 3 or 4 hours I could be doing something else. I could be doing schoolwork, I could be hanging out with friends or family, or anything else that you could think of. So once again, when I stopped napping for good about a year ago, I actually noticed a very specific increase in my grades. I actually got the highest GPA that I got at City College the same semester that I decided to quit napping, and I don't think that that's a coincidence at all. So I was able to replace the time that I would spend asleep with time that I could be at the library, doing homework, or even doing college applications. So I really am passionate about like the idea that you can fulfill that time with something much more productive. So the 3 actions that you can take is, first, try to develop a very concrete sleep schedule. So go to sleep and wake up at the same time every single day. That way your body will naturally know that that's when it's time to rest, and you won't need to sleep at other points during the day. Secondly, the next time you're like, God, I really want to sleep, I really want to take a nap, it's the middle of the afternoon, think about what you could be doing instead, and then just do it. If you have reading you need to catch up on, do your reading. And I promise you, you'll make it past 4 o'clock just fine. And then lastly, your third step that you can take is that if you really desperately need a nap, there's a method that is proven to work very well. So if you drink a cup of coffee right before you go to sleep and then take no longer than a 20-minute nap, the caffeine will kick in right as you wake up, and you will end up feeling invigorated without destroying the sleep cycle that you've worked so hard to create. And so the benefits that you will find if you implement this into your life is that not only will you have more energy and more time, but you will be overall a more well-rounded person due to both of these aspects. So in summary, I have given you guys 2 reasons why you should not nap anymore, and then 3 actions you should take, as well as some benefits. So I trust that before my speech, a lot of you were thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to go back to my dorm, I can't wait to sleep. Now you'll make a much better decision about what to do when class is over. Thanks.
Thank you. 511.
Hi everyone, I'm Jarelli.
Hi, Jarelli.
I thought your speech was very good. You were very convincing, and that's an reason to take that. So I don't
You
think
are a person that
I sometimes do.
Yeah.
But I won't be taking the time.
Okay, so she persuaded you. Excellent. Yes, please.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
I really liked your speech. I was going to take a nap when I got back, but now I'm not.
Guilt trip.
One improvement would be you were citing a source, and I think you might have forgotten what the source was, so maybe just think of that.
Yeah.
Institute of Sleeping.
National Institute of either Insomnia or Sleep, I think. I can't remember.
Okay, Hannah. Really good topic and unique topic and unexpected. So that was excellent. Quit napping. You know, sort of like quit whining, I guess. And you opened up with an expression that was really resonated with the audience, because I think you hit a nail on the head. I think a lot of people, they eat a big lunch, and or whatever the reason is, habit or a big lunch, I'm going to take a nap. You know, and they do. I've heard about it a lot on campus from my debaters and others. So, yeah, I'm going to take a nap. So, it's a good opening, and it got people's attention. Your thesis preview was fine. Your 6th statement, you informed us of your past. Then you said you made an informed decision, and it would have been interesting to say something like, I did some research on napping right there and just decided to quit. But yeah, we got the idea of it, and you later explained what you did. But it was a good, significant statement. Just remember, it's selling it to them. So I know we all have questions about sleep, and so I'll answer them. On your first reason, you tell us it's bad for your body, and that's a direct statement. And you told us from the National Sleep Foundation. I didn't hear a date.
Well, I couldn't find a date on the website.
So just say when I visited the website in 2016 then. Okay. And you cited the circadian rhythm among other problems that inconsistent sleep or napping has on the body and so forth. How it really messes us up. Yeah. And you self-disclose something about yourself, which I thought when people do that, it becomes more compelling. You told us that you had to take melatonin now, just in order to fall asleep, and that can't be good over a long period of time, I would think. I'm not sure, but I think putting anything in there like that, it's got to be some disruption. So, your second reason was efficiency. It's a waste of time. And you talked about your personal story of sleep a few hours and so forth, and what you lost by sleeping so much. For time with friends and family and grades and so forth. When you stopped napping, they went up and improved. So you gave us the whole gamut of the negative when you were napping and the great things that happened to you when you stopped. So that was good. Your concrete action, I liked all of them. I was intrigued by this drinking a cup of coffee before sleep. I suppose that's good. You always hear people at dinner saying, decaf, or it'll keep me up all night, so I don't know. I think that on D, the benefits were a little light. I would have really stressed all the benefits that you got from all the harms that you're talking about. Really are benefits. You're less stressed, you're more healthy, you're not putting a strain on your heart, on your poor liver for having to digest all this crap you're putting in it. You're just being more consistent with your body. Your summary, your conclusion, and tieback were all good. Your kanai, stick to verbal cues and outline, move with a purpose, and vocal variety. What do you think?
I think I did a good job, especially with sticking to the outline, because I think this is the first time all quarter that I actually remembered to say, I'm going to give you 2 reasons and 3 actions.
Yeah.
So I think I did a good job with that. I think I did a good job moving. On my last speech, I kind of wandered to one side and then didn't really do anything else.
This time it was more purposeful, yes.
Yeah.
Good.
And then vocal variety, I think I did okay. I wasn't focused on it, but I don't think I did a bad job with that.
No.
That was one of the comments for my last speech, and then that wasn't for the speech.
I would continue in your life to work on that emphatic style of delivery with a little more energy and oomph, so you continue to fill the room with your voice and your energy, and so that you are interesting to listen to. But you did a very nice job today, Hannah. Thank you. Okay, that will bring us to Girelli. Hey, Girelli, how you doing?
Good, myself.
Needs my trick
Is it okay
free
if I bring my evaluation? I don't have a copy.
Oh, I'm out of staples. Oh, this is serious. Anybody have any staples?
No.
You gave me a whole box? Give me a whole line of them. Let's see. Nope. Sorry, Girelli, I'm out of staples.
Actually, it's that works.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, Girelli stands before you, managing attention. You're talking. Communicating respect non-verbally. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Girelli Morales.
Hi, Girelli.
As the 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy once said, one person can make a difference, and everyone should try. Today I want to persuade you to vote. I will give you 2 reasons and 3 actions that you can take to make this action happen, and the benefits that will come along with it. According to the Pew Research Center, Drew D. Silver stated that the U.S. voter turnout in the 2012 presidential election was 53.6%, and that's the voting age population of nearly 241 million people. Can you believe that? Only about half of the Americans who live here voted for that presidential election. This is very sad because that's low compared to other countries. The first reason that I want to convince you to vote is because there are people out there who wish they could vote, but they just don't have the opportunity to do so. For example, my dad immigrated here about many years ago, and when he first got here, he wished that he could vote, but he didn't have the opportunity, and it wasn't legally okay for him to vote. After really wanting to vote, he decided that he would go through the process of becoming a citizen, and after 11 years of being in America and waiting to be a citizen, he was able to vote. My dad makes sure that he's able to vote every single time he gets the opportunity. Whether it's for a president or a senator, it doesn't matter. He just makes sure that he exercises his right to vote. My support for this evidence is that many of my friends don't even vote. For example, I have a boyfriend who I thought voted, but apparently he didn't. And it's sad. It's really saddening to see because there are people who fought and literally died so that we can have the right to vote, and many Americans take that for granted. The second reason that I want to convince you to vote is because if Americans don't vote, then we run a high risk of getting an unfit or bad president. You can relate this to the current situation of having Donald Trump as a president. And my evidence for this is that currently many people are protesting against this fascist, racist, and inexperienced president. For example, yesterday there was a walkout. Many students walked out. It was nearly about 2,000 people who were protesting, and they were all going against their president. The sad reality is that many of them probably didn't even vote themselves. And it's situations like this that bring up the idea of, wow, maybe I should have voted. And I feel really shocked about this because many Americans think that we all vote, but actually there are many people who don't. Next up, I would like to give you 3 actions that you can take to vote. So next time there's a presidential election or any election for anything, make sure that you go out and vote. If you don't like any of the president's policies, then you can still help out by maybe standing on Bruin Walk, like those people who wore the yellow shirts this year, and making sure that people are registered to vote. And if you don't want to do that, then maybe you can find a voting poll near you and you can volunteer there. So the benefits that you will receive for this would be that you would exercise your right to vote, your voice will be heard, and you can even find that you're learning information about current politics, which maybe many of us don't do. So in summary, I have gave you 2 reasons, 3 actions, and the benefits that you will receive if you go out and vote. So as John F. Kennedy says, if one person can make a difference, then why should we not try it? After all, every vote counts, right? Thank you.
3:35. Where are we?
I'm Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
I thought your speech was very good. I thought it was well organized. I really liked the personal connection you had added to it, like the story about your father. It was very easy to connect emotionally because my parents were also immigrants. So that was nice.
Hi, I'm Linnea.
Hi, Linnea.
I think your speech was good. It was clear, and your points were clear. You can elaborate a little bit more. Just work with the time you have. Thank you.
Yeah. You could elaborate. We call that adequate development. So each of your points could have been more developed, and you could have had more information and statistics to buff this up and make it more meaty. But it was a good speech, and I was wondering if someone was going to bring in President-elect Trump and speak about him, and you did, so that made it very timely. So that was good, and you made it clear how you felt about him, and that was fine. You know, that's what we do in America, is we have freedom of speech to express our points of view. Well, you went way back to quote John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, that one person can make a difference and everyone should try. And you tied back to John F. Kennedy, and you said, after all, every vote counts. And, you know, this is sometimes hard for people to see when they see the votes are real lopsided or something. But in this case, for example, the popular vote was pretty close. So, you know, these things can make a difference and can be leveraged into calling the vote you got a landslide, a mandate, or nothing, right? Your thesis preview was fine. You cited Pew Research. I want you with your voice to say in 2016, so we know it's real recent evidence. Say, yeah. And you say Drew DeSilver, is he a researcher there or a professor there, stated that in presidential elections, 56.3, just under 241 millions. And you were trying to prove that the voter turnout was low, and it wouldn't have hurted for you to have said, you know, added a little emotion there and say, this is wrong, this is disgusting, this is ridiculous. People, you went on later to talk about people fought and died and stuff, you know. So it's good. Okay, so you went to your first reason, and you know people that would like to but can't vote because they're not, quote, citizens. And your dad used to wish he could vote when he was younger. He was not eligible, then he probably became a citizen, and finally, after the family became one, 11 years later, he was granted the right to vote. The father has voted ever since. That was a very good story that really capped your reasoning that how compelling it can be to a family to see it through and, you know, make it a personal thing to to really go through the process and make sure that it happens. You say, I feel upset about this issue because people fought to give us the right to vote, and many citizens take it for granted or are cynical and say, the system's rigged, I'm not going to participate in it, or whatever their reason is. So that first one was good. The second reason is you talk about bad, unfit officials, talk about fascists and inexperienced president. And you said you weren't surprised about this because you knew this was sort of an occurrence. Then you say concrete action. Next time there's an election, go out and vote, you said. So, yeah. And your second reason was make sure you get others to register to vote and volunteer at a polling station. So those were all things that I think people can reasonably do if they're committed to being more involved in the political process. You talked about the benefits of exercising your right to vote and become more informed citizens of the current policy. Yeah, I would have expanded that a little bit more on when you say, and when you perform these actions, you receive benefits. And I would have expanded many more of the benefits so it was longer because you had plenty of time. Okay? Your summary was fine, your conclusion was fine, your tie back to the cute thing was good. To the Kennedy thing was good. Don't try to go overtime. Well, you were under time. Be louder, be more concrete. How'd it go?
I think maybe the reason why I was under time was because last time I went overtime.
You cut everything
It's a
out.
balance out.
Yeah, you overcompensated. Yeah, but you were louder. What else? Be more concrete, not abstract. Do you think you're too abstract?
That was pretty concrete.
I don't think you were too abstract. I think the speech was just right. I don't think you got into any of the parametric measures that they do up in the poli-sci department and the big number crunching that's all the latest fad up there, the big numbers that they love to play with. It's all the latest trend that claims they're getting new insights from. So Geraldi, you did a good job. Just, beef it up a little bit next time so you have an adequately developed speech. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to Andre.
He's actually not here today.
Wow, big zero. No Andre. Okay. Any other C's I missed? Anybody have a study buddy in the house? Well, the battery's dead, so I think that's God telling us that class is over.
Have you graded any of our speeches, or do you have any grades so I can get a gauge of how I'm doing in life?
Yeah, sure.
Can I do my personal commitment speech?
It's dead.
It's dead. I'd have to change the battery. Let's do it next time when we have a little more time.
Alright, that's fine.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Return with honor.
Actually, 3 is on.
How did it hurt again?
Still haven't done our study, but it's good.